Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, U.S. Aviation Academy launches San Marcos, Texas campus. CAE to open Vienna, Austria training center. APA and American Airlines management reach agreement in principle. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. U.S. Aviation Academy launches San Marcos, Texas campus. U.S. Aviation Academy has set forth that it has launched its second Airframe and Powerplant training location at San Marcos Regional Airport, a public-use airport in southeast central Texas's Caldwell County. U.S. Aviation Academy's new FAA Part 147 approved aircraft mechanic school will host its first class in June 2023. The facility's A&P program spans an intensive 12 months, a veritable sprint viewed against competing institutions' curricula, which typically stretch over 2 years. Training at U.S. Aviation Academy's HYI installation includes hands-on shop time comprising in part the identification, removal, rebuilding, fabrication, and troubleshooting of various aircraft components. The training's didactic aspect consists of lectures covering the various structures and systems of modern aircraft. U.S. Aviation provides students with the entireties of the books, tools, and materials requisite A&P training. What's more, for purpose of maximizing training relevance, the school retains a Learjet upon which the students may hone their nascent mechanical skills. According to global industrial and technological consultancy Oliver Wyman, quote, aviation executives ranked a potential mechanic shortage MRO's #1 headache, end quote. And coming up after the break, Biden backs plans to provide Ukrainian pilots F-16 training.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Biden backs plan to provide Ukrainian pilots F-16 training. Joe Biden has set forth his intention to commit additional U.S. dollars and resources to training Ukrainian pilots to fly U.S.-made F-16 fighter jets. The president expressed his aspiration to further involvement in the Russo-Ukrainian conflict during a closed-door meeting at the Group of Seven summit in Hiroshima, Japan. Biden stated his administration would support a joint effort to train Ukrainian pilots in the operation of modern fighter jets, specifically General Dynamics' F-16 Fighting Falcon. Subject training, which is likely to commence in the coming weeks, will ostensibly be carried out in Europe. Apollo Medflight adopts ICARUS device. ICARUS Devices says that Apollo Medflight will presently integrate the Instrument Conditions Awareness Recognition and Understanding System, or ICARUS, Smart View Limiting Device into its pilot training curriculum. A leading regional air ambulance concerned with bases in Texas, Oklahoma, South Dakota, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Louisiana, and Nebraska, Apollo Medflight operates a diverse fleet comprising Bell's 407 and 429, and Airbus's EC-135 and 145 model helicopters, as well as Pilatus's PC-12 single-engine turboprop and Textron Beechcraft storied King Air twin turboprop fixed-wing aircraft. Capito's NOTAM legislation passes U.S. Senate. The NOTAM Improvement Act has passed the U.S. Senate by unanimous consent. Senator Capito introduced the NOTAM Improvement Act in January 2023 for purpose of helping prevent future FAA system outages. The legislation, if ratified, would require the FAA to establish a task force charged with modernizing and bolstering the resiliency and cybersecurity of the digital, electronic, and network architectures by which notices to airmen are disseminated to users of the U.S. National Airspace System. USAF B-2 safety pause lifted. The Air Force's fleet of B-2 Spirit bombers are returning to service following a 163-day safety pause ordered by U.S. Air Force Global Strike Command in the wake of a December 2022 mishap at Missouri's Whiteman Air Force Base. The model's return to flight status was approved by Air Force Global Strike Command Head General Thomas A. Bussier. USAF 8th Air Force Commander Major General Andrew J. Gabera stated, quote, "The B-2 fleet safety pause is officially lifted. General Bussier, at my recommendation, made a final determination on the necessary actions taken and approved a return to flight," end quote. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. CAE to open Vienna, Austria Training Center. CAE announced that it's expanding its global network of simulator training centers to Central Europe. The announcement made at EBACE 2023 set forth that CAE will presently open a new business aviation training center in Vienna, Austria. Operations at the new facility are slated to get underway in the latter half of 2024. What's more, CAE intends to provision its new Vienna training center with Europe's first Bombardier Global 7500 full flight sim. The move promises to afford European operators of Bombardier's Global 7500 ultra-long-range business jet unprecedented access to quality pilot training on the eminently popular model. CAE Group President of Civil Aviation Nick Leontidis stated, quote, "Vienna is the ideal location for CAE's new business aviation training center in Central Europe. This new center will be a game changer for business aviation training in the region, offering programs on the region's most sought-after aircraft platforms in an immersive learning environment. CAE Vienna is another example of the significant investments we are making to bring business aviation training closer to where our customers operate their aircraft." End quote. And after these messages, APA and American Airlines management reach agreement in principle.
If it looks good, it usually flies good. The Bristol series of aircraft is proof of that. Furthering their legacy of safety and efficiency, Bristol is proud to feature the Rotax 915 IS Turbo in the current lineup of aircraft. The 915 IS Turbo power plant offers more power than ever before in a light sport aircraft. Learn more about Bristol at www.sportflyingusa.com.
Throughout the globe, Piper Aircraft has hand-selected the very best in company representation, service, and support. From first inquiry to acquisition to product support, Piper Aircraft ownership is seamless and worry-free. Piper Aircraft authorized dealers, factory trained, factory connected.
Welcome back. APA and American Airlines management reach agreement in principle. The Allied Pilots Association, the labor union by which American Airlines pilots are represented, authorized a strike in the wake of protracted contract talks with the air carrier. The authorizing of a strike is the first in a long and complex succession of prerequisites that must be met prior to American Airlines pilots walking off the job. By making such an authorization in the weeks prior to the onset of the frantic and profitable summer travel season, the Allied Pilots Association exerted considerable pressure on American Airlines management to assume a more cooperative tenor at the negotiation table, and the tactic appears to have been effective. On May 19th, the APA announced its negotiating committee and American Airlines management had reached an agreement in principle on a new collective bargaining agreement. In a statement to American Airlines pilots, the union set forth, quote, "As required by the APA Policy Manual Section 9.6, we will move forward with completing contractual language for all sections and related letters and for the implementation schedule. Once that requirement is fulfilled, the negotiating committee will present the AIP to the APA Board of Directors for consideration as a proposed tentative agreement at least 7 days prior to any meeting convened to consider the TA." End quote. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.